Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. So we're going to be doing a recap of favorites from last year. I wanted to do this video because a lot of the beauty influencers are going to be coming out with their 2020 favorites. So I wanted to do a recap of the 2019 favorites, see if they're still good, see what my impressions are of them, and then we're going to do a video on the 2020 favorites when they release. Let's get into this video. So I literally went through a whole bunch of favorites videos from 2019, which literally a lot of them aired about a year ago, and I was looking at a whole bunch of different influencers from Tati to RachhLoves, RawBeautyKristi, and Kelly Strack, Kelly Gooch, Seeking Alexandria, Taylor Wynn, Allie Glines, Kathleen Light, Smokey Glow. I looked at all of these influencers and what was on their list for 2019, and I pulled everything out that was already in my collection that they mentioned in their favorites, and I'm going to show you guys what they picked. So first for primer, we have the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. This is from Kelly Gooch, and she does recommend this. It's more of a gripping primer, and it also can be used as a part of your skincare routine. And then I actually saw this mentioned quite a bit. It is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which is supposed to be a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas. Seeking Alexandria used this one a lot. This was in her favorites, and I wanted to actually, I've used both of these. They've been in my favorites. They are some of my favorites. Today we're going to be using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer because the foundation that we are using today is one I have never tried before, but has been a favorite of quite a few beauty gurus. So I actually haven't used this primer in a while, but I do have like a huge divot in it. I'm thinking about adding this back into my everyday makeup bag. Go check out my November Shop My Stash video. But this primer is definitely a pore filling primer. It's a smoothing primer. It gets your foundation to grip onto your skin. I think the only thing I really don't like about it is the fact that it comes in this tub, which makes it kind of hard to apply. It just creates that neutral base for you. It even has a little bit of a tint in it, so it kind of gets rid of some of the redness as well, which I really do like that one. So that is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Seeking Alexandria mentioned this as one of her 2019 favorites. She uses the Tatcha Silk Canvas all the time, so for this to be one of her favorites really isn't news to me. Then from RawBeautyKristi and RachhLoves, they all mentioned this as one of their favorite foundations for 2020, and it is the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Foundation. There was another foundation that was actually competing really highly with this one, and it is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear. That one's in my Shop My Stash right now. So this was the other contender for the foundation spot, but considering this one is in my everyday makeup bag and it's something that it's really hard for me to work with because I don't have quite the right primer for it, I decided to go with the Pure 4-in-1 today. This one I've never used before. It's in the color LP4, and it's supposed to be a concealer and a foundation in one. So it has a doe foot, and then it also has a pump. This is going to be interesting. I've heard that this is super full coverage. RachhLoves raved about this all last year, and it is still a favorite of hers as well as a favorite of RawBeautyKristi. So the shade match actually isn't terrible, at least not on camera. Oh yeah, no, that's a good shade match. Oh wow, that's thick. Really thick. Did not expect it to be that thick. The way that this applies really reminds me of the ColourPop Hydrating Foundation, hyaluronic acid foundation that they came out with earlier this year of 2020. Very full coverage. Dang. It erased half my face. Foundation, it really did cover up a lot of my blemishes. It is definitely a very full coverage formula. And the shade match is really good. I look like I have some color, but I look like I'm not completely washed out. So I do like the shade match. Dang, that's really full coverage. Then for concealer, there were two, but I decided to pick a high-end brand. The first one was the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camel Concealer. There were a ton of people who raved about it. And then, as always, the Tarte Shape Tape. This one was another favorite of beauty gurus, and considering I hardly ever use this one, and I always use the Camel one, I decided to go with the Tarte Shape Tape. This is something that gets raved about by Kelly Strack quite often, and A lot of other people have used Shape Tape before. I think Porcelain uses Shape Tape quite a bit in her videos. So I decided, like, let's give it a whirl. Let's use my Shape Tape today. I usually reserve it for like super special occasions. This is a special occasion. We're figuring out if beauty gurus were right about 2019 favorites. So the color of my Shape Tape is 16N. Hello, Flawless Complexion. Wow. Smokey Glow mentioned this contouring palette. It is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess contouring palette. I'm actually going to use this for some of like the setting shades because not a lot of beauty gurus really mentioned anything regarding setting powders that I had in stock. Now, Tati does mention, or she did mention, she hasn't been on YouTube in forever, Tati mentioned a CoverGirl one that is like super, super good. So right now we're just taking the 2 skin tone shades and we are dipping into these and we are setting the under eye. Smokey Glow mentioned this palette in her 2019 favorites. This has been a favorite of mine as well. I love the, like the smell, it smells like chocolate, but I also love the fine milled powder. Definitely reminds me of my ABH contouring palette as well. Then for bronzer, I think this was a favorite of like every single beauty YouTuber that I looked up. A lot of people. So let's see. RachhLoves mentioned it, and Kathleen Lights mentioned this. Seeking Alexandria mentioned this. A lot of people mentioned this specific bronzer. It's a Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It was a favorite of a lot of beauty gurus, and it was a favorite of mine as well. Like the scent is just amazing, but the actual performance of the bronzer, it performs like a high-end bronzer. It's got great pigmentation, it blends out really easily, as well as the fact that it lasts for a very long time and it's really inexpensive. It's like $15 for the bronzer. You can actually still buy the holiday set that they released last year that had all their bronzer colors in it, and you can buy that like on Amazon. But this has been a cult favorite for like last year. I think it's still a favorite today. It is one of my favorites. It's actually in my everyday makeup bag right now because it's just that good. I don't know why I stopped using it. It's so good. It can really be built up to like warm up your face quite a bit, or you can just do like a really subtle look with it, but it's so pretty. So there were a couple of different blush formulas that I was looking at. I had this specific one in mind. It was actually mentioned by Smokey Glow in her 2019 favorites. It's one that I recently purchased because it was part of the 21 Days of Ulta Beauty that they just had. And it is the Cover FX Blush Duo. This one is in Mojave Mauve. So I have this Cover FX Blush Duo, and then Allie Glines and Tati mentioned the Honest Beauty Cream Blush Formula. So we're going to be playing with both of these today. I don't usually use a cream blush formula on top of my powder, so we're just going to mostly use the Cover FX one. This one was a favorite of Smokey Glow. It is a favorite of mine. I actually had it in my everyday makeup bag when I first bought this. I love the, see how pigmented that is? It's super pigmented, it blends out really easily, really flawlessly, and then it has the shimmer side, which actually makes it really easy to kind of diffuse the color and give you like a really, like you flushed, but you look like you have a touch of glow to your face. See how it like diffuses out really nicely, but it still gives you that like blushed effect. You can build it up so you look more blushed. You can do it where it's really, really subtle. So before we move on to highlights, I do like to set my face just so we can get some of the powder product like just set in there. And Allie Glines' favorite one for 2019 was the Pixie Milky Mist. This is one of my favorites as well. It's a non-offensive spray, very refreshing on the face, and it smells really, really good. We have highlights. This was a favorite of mine. It was a favorite of a whole bunch of other beauty YouTubers. I feel like every single person mentioned the RachhLoves collab in their 2019 favorites. Seeking Alexandria did. Obviously, RachhLoves did. Tati Beauty did. This was just a favorite of a lot of people's. And as you guys can tell, I had to repress the pan in my clutch, my T1. My T1 had to be repressed, so it's a little bit messy, but it's beautiful. Like, this palette is so nice, so creamy, so pigmented. It gives you that lit from within glow, and I just love it. So we're taking a beauty blender first just to kind of get some of the extra highlight here that I have, and then I'm going to go in and kind of like, it's not supposed to look like that, but you guys will see. Like this can be like completely over the top in your face, or it can be something super subtle, super pretty. That's why it's called the Layers Highlighting Palette, because it can actually just kind of like blend and you can mix the highlighting shades. It's so creamy and so soft to the touch. I think RachhLoves did like an amazing job with this collab. It's one of her favorites, obviously, because she created the collab. Oh, I just feel so glowy. I don't know why I stopped using this. I fall in love with other highlighting palettes, and then I come back to this one every single time, and I'm just like, stop using other highlighting palettes. Two eyeshadow palettes came up a lot in my research of favorites for 2019. And one that I picked was because I haven't really used it a lot, and the other one I don't have right now. So one was the Alter Ego Goddess palettes, and then another one was the Tati Beauty Texture Neutrals Volume 1, which I do have. So this was a favorite of RachhLoves, Tati, obviously, because she created this palette. Got some honorable mentions from some other beauty gurus on the platform. So this is the one that we're going to be using today. Tati Beauty Texture Neutrals Volume 1. This is what she looks like. It released in October of 2019, and it literally sold out like the day it was released. And it's a very amazing, it's so pigmented, so pretty. I just don't use it as much as what I normally do because I have other eyeshadow palettes that I love as well. Like I love on all my eyeshadow palettes. So let's create a look with the Tati Beauty Texture Neutrals Volume 1. Looking at my face in the mirror of this palette, by the way, because it comes with a full mirror, which is one of the best things about it. It looks amazing. So we're taking the matte shade in the Aura row, which is this one here, and it is just a skin tone one. We're using it to set the lid because I did put some foundation on it when I was applying my foundation, so it kind of like prepped the lids. Then we're going into Soothe, which is this matte shade right here. We're gonna put this in my crease. So with this palette, you can actually do like really over the top, or you can do something super neutral. It comes with blacks, grays. It comes even with like a pumpkin-y orange color, which I've been kind of vibing lately because we're in the fall season. Now we're kind of moving toward the holidays, which this is like my holiday palette that I love to use because it has the glitters and the beautiful colors. We're taking this on a ColourPop E23 brush. Then I'm switching to an E27 from ColourPop, and we're going to use Story in the Sequin row, which is like a satin shimmery, it's orange, that's all I know, but we're gonna do like detail right here. One thing I've always found with these kind of like sequin-y shades is that the glitter just doesn't translate onto the eye. It still looks like a matte formula. So, I mean, it has a little bit darker of a finish than the matte in this palette, but the sequins just look the same. Pretty much just like packing the color on the eye, and then I'm going to blend it out. And I think I'm just gonna try something kind of like halo-y today. So we're also going to put it on the inner portion of my eye. Pack on that color. Now this palette is very pigmented, so like a little bit goes a very, very long way. And it's been rumored that her eyeshadow formula is very similar to the ColourPop eyeshadow formula. Don't know how true that is. Somebody correct me if I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure they come from the same lab. So we're taking the this is the E23 brush, and we're going to kind of blend these all together. We're going to take an E25 from ColourPop's, and we're going to use this color, which is in the Soothe row, and we're gonna mix it with Aura. It's gonna give like a bronzy eye color. Pop this right in the middle. Taking that E23, gonna blend the edges. Taking an Alter Ego number 8, and we're gonna take Aura, the metallic, and we're just going to pop this on the brow. Very simple. Very easy. Then the top pick for mascara for 2019, one of them was the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. This is new, but I love it. This is actually one of my favorites. It performs better than the Better Than Sex mascara. It's got a thicker formula, but it's not too thick to the point where you can't work with it. It's a very good formula. So here we are with the almost full face. For lips, Smokey Glow mentioned 2 brands. One of them was the Dose of Colors, and then the other one was a Milani one. I don't think I have the exact one that she mentioned, but I did pull out one of my Milanis. It's the Be Bold Lips. So I have a Dose of Colors, which is like a reddy purple. And then I have a Milani one, which is kind of like more of a dark nude. Way too dark for my liking. So here is a full face of 2019 Beauty Guru favorites. If you guys want to see everything that I used in this video, it'll be in the description box below. And stay tuned for my 2020 favorites and a recap of my 2019 favorites and if there's still favorites of 2020. Yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!